Hello and welcome back to the channel, and I just watched Transformers 1. The film focuses on the origin story of both Optimus Prime and Megatron, who at one time saw each other as close friends, almost like brothers, and how that friendship became the endless rivalry that we all know them for to this day. Now I'm gonna be completely honest, I wasn't super excited about this, but I was still intrigued at how this was gonna play out. I'm somebody that has always found the Transformers franchise really interesting. I think the characters are cool and fun, and also kind of intriguing. The world building and lore behind it I also think is interesting and kind of compelling. The problem is that the Transformers that I grew up with never really gave a shit about that much. I grew up with the Michael Bay live action films, and as you guys know, those films are mostly focused in action and other stupid shit. So when they announced this, I was very surprised on why it took them so long to bring Transformers into an animated feature film again. I'll be real with y'all, the trailers didn't really do this movie much service.
These are not the bad guys.
Why did you cut the door?
No, it was already like that, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes. It was. Yeah, it was already like. Yeah.
This film is not yet rated.
So combined with that, my expectations for the movie were very, very low. But now that I finally watched it, what did I think about it? That's where it gets interesting here. Those first few minutes of the movie, like I would say like 4 or 5 minutes of the film, are very much what you expected from the trailers. It focuses a lot on the comedy, it focuses a lot on the kitty humor that you kinda saw from that first trailer that really turned a lot of people off on this film. But man, after that shit, I was like, oh fuck, they are cooking!
Decepticons! Rise up!
I'm not lying to y'all. This movie started at a, I don't know, 6 out of 10, and then after those first 4 to 5 minutes, that shit like fucking elevated to like a 9, almost 10 out of 10 movie. This shit fucking goes crazy in all the best ways. Oh my god, this was fucking incredible! Like that shit felt like a flashback because I did not expect this movie to go as hard as it went, especially with the dynamic of Optimus Prime and Megatron. When this film are known as RM Pax and D16, that's before they're even known as Optimus Prime and Megatron. And oh my god, this movie has so many highlights, but one of the things that I was definitely very surprised, and very pleasantly surprised, was on the voice acting performances. These performances are legitimately fucking fantastic. First of all, we have Chris Hemsworth as RM Pax, aka Optimus Prime, and boy, he does an amazing job. When I first heard him in the trailer, I wasn't sure how to feel about it, but then after watching the film, I was like, oh, this is fucking genius. The way that they do this is so great, because it's not Chris Hemsworth trying to imitate Peter Cullen, who did the original voice of Optimus Prime. He's doing his own thing here, but as the movie progresses, you see kind of how he's almost doing his own twist on that voice, and it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like he's, again, trying to do an impression. He's putting his own spin on it, and I love it. And the same thing I could say for Brian Tyree Henry, who plays D16, also aka Megatron. At first when I heard him, I was like, how is this guy going to turn the Megatron that we all know today? Like, yeah, he's kind of a hothead, but at the same time, he's also kind of goofy, so I was like, how is this going to turn into Megatron? And boy, the way they do it is fucking phenomenal. By the end, I was like, they are actually doing this, and they're doing it right. And in the short amount of time that they do it so perfectly as well. Oh my god, the way that they just handled the turn of D16 to Megatron is fucking beautiful, and it's even done better by Brian Tyree Henry's performance, who does an incredible job as this character. Scarlett Johansson as Alita I thought was great, but I will be honest, she's probably the one character out of all of them that doesn't have much to do in the film, but I still thought she was great, and by the end I was so invested in her that I bought her as this character. Now Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee, that shit was fucking hilarious. Now I'll be honest, this might be the one character that people might love or hate. He is just purely comedic relief here, but I absolutely fucking loved every second of it. I thought he was hilarious. I thought that he played Bumblebee in a very fun, lighthearted way that was enjoyable, that wasn't insufferable. But again, that's only me. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion on this character specifically. Now let's talk about that animation, because holy shit, this movie is gorgeous to look at. That's one thing I'll say about the trailers that I liked from the beginning. It was how the animation just looked so fucking crisp. Oh yeah, I'm also just a huge fan of the art direction as a whole in this film. I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever actually cared about Cybertron in any Transformers anything. Specifically comparing it to the Michael Bay movies, Cybertron has always just seemed like such a cool concept, but they've always presented it in such a boring, bland, uninteresting manner that I just could never give a shit about it. This is the first time they actually make Cybertron almost a character of its own. The way it's designed, the way it works, it's all just so fucking good in that. But also, I'm a huge fan of the character designs. I love how easy they are to identify. I love how simple they are. Even when they're transforming, I think it is beautiful because I can see what they're actually transforming into and not the shitty, messy, cluttered bullshit that happens in the live action films where I'm like, have the time questioning what the fuck I'm looking at and who am I even looking at. Is that Optimus or is that another fucking robot? I don't fucking know anymore. They all look so shitty in those movies that I can barely tell them apart. But here's the opposite. I can tell you who each one of these characters are, and that's amazing. But by far, the most impressive thing about the film is its story. This film's story is phenomenal in a lot of different ways. But the main thing that is the driving factor of the film is Orion's and D16's friendship. This is the heart and soul of the movie, and ultimately the tragedy of the film. Because when you first start the movie, you see the friendship between these two. They're almost like brothers. So it's sweet, it's wholesome, it's funny, and then that fucking turn happens, and it is legitimately heartbreaking. And I'll say this, I wasn't crying watching this, but holy shit, there were so many occasions, so many scenes, so many specific moments watching this film where I was like, oh no, oh my god, no. I'm not lying when I say this. When D16 starts transitioning into Megatron, kids slowly started to shut the fuck up. And when a film can do that to its audience, especially an audience of kids, you know you've already won at that point. The action scenes in the film are also fantastic. A great combination of a lot of great choreography, but also the transformations of all the Autobots. That shit is amazing. The way they transition from being a vehicle to the Transformer form is fucking amazing. How they incorporate that into the action is also something that truly needs to be seen to be believed, because it is legitimately fucking amazing. If I have maybe one minor complaint, some of these other villains are kind of predictable, but I feel like the movie knows that. It's not like it's trying to trick you into thinking, oh, these people are actually kind of good, but in reality, they're actually just fucking assholes. It's not a big complaint, but it is one that was notable and that was predictable to say the least. But man, this movie is just so fucking good. Oh, I don't know, man. This movie was just completely unexpected. I was not expecting to come out of this really enjoying this as much as I did, because again, I'm not the biggest Transformers fan, so to me, I went into this as somebody as a casual Transformers enjoyer. I came out of this honestly kind of being a fan. This is the first time in such a long time since that first Michael Bay live action movie that I wanted to buy these toys. I'm not kidding. So if I would give a rating to Transformers 1, like I said, this shit almost went to a 10 out of 10. But again, because those first few 4-5 minutes of the movie are kinda your basic animated movie for kids, and also the fact that some of the villains are kind of predictable, that's kind of what drops it to a 9 out of 10. But believe me, that is a very high 9 out of 10. You should watch it and support it because it is, in my opinion, one of the best of the year.
Now is the time for us to stand up together as one.
But anyways, what do you think of Transformers 1? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you just kind of in the middle? Let me know down in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think about it. And like always, good day, good night, and stay safe.